Okay, today I want to get right to it and tell you about a wilderness survival training exercise that I've been thinking about for a long time. It came up because recently I had somebody that I work with ask me how I learned wilderness survival skills and self-reliance skills. And he's an avid hunter, and he admitted to me that if he got lost in the woods, he wouldn't know what to eat, and if he couldn't get something with his gun as a meat source, he'd probably starve to death. And he said to me, I'm lucky I'm a smoker, so at least I'd have fire. And I don't know, that's just not the way to go into the woods. We all know that, right? So he asked how he would learn those skills if he was going to do it, how he'd learn some survival skills. And I told him, basically, that there's courses available, and really what you have to do is go out into the woods with books and practice skills, you know, spend some time doing it. Go with somebody who knows something, or if there's nobody around that you know, just go and do it. It just takes time. And I don't know, he probably won't take that to heart, but I thought I'd show you an exercise here that I've been thinking about for years for beginners or people that want to learn the skills and they have to do it on their own. This is something that I've actually used in the past myself to help broaden my knowledge base. And what you need to do this is a 50 or 25 foot piece of rope or string with a loop tied in one end. Carve yourself a stick with a point on it. I recommend that you bring along a field guide for plants. It's almost pointless to do this exercise without a good field guide. So bring that along, something that's specific to your area and has information about edible and medicinal plants as well. It'll be very helpful. I'm going to carry my fire steel and my knife because that's just stuff that I always have with me. And you can carry as much gear as you want in this. Carry whatever you normally carry in the woods, whatever you're comfortable with. It's all up to you. You know, carry as much as you want at first, and then maybe challenge yourself by leaving an item out or something like that. Yeah, well, that's that. That's the next thing to do is just get started. And the way you do that is by introducing some kind of an element of randomness into this exercise. So if you're driving along in your car down a dirt road, what you might do is say when your vehicle gets to a certain mileage or whatever, you cross a certain mile board on the road, or kilometers of course here, but when you hit that, you stop, and then you have a preset direction. You're going to go out of your vehicle into the woods, and maybe you walk 100 steps or something like that into the woods, and that's where you're going to do this experiment. If you're already in the woods, you can spin your stick if you want, whatever direction that points. Walk 50 steps that way and do it there. So somehow introduce some randomness into this as far as finding your place goes. And I'm going to do that right now. I'm just going to walk 100 paces behind me here. Never been in that little piece of woods before. And then I'll stop and I'll show you what I do from there. Okay. So I'm at my location now. Did my 100 steps here, and first thing we do now is sink this stick into the ground. I think a lot of you can probably figure out where I'm going to go with this now. Okay. Let's see if I can get you down there. Got the stick in the ground, and now you just take your 25 feet of cord and do whatever you want to do to somehow attach it onto that stick. And this is your tether. And now for the remainder of this exercise, you are staying within the reach of your 25-foot tether. We've got our tether down, and now the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look for any hazards around here, of course. So that involves looking around and looking up, making sure there's not any big tree branches or widowmakers that are going to fall on you. It happens, you know, if the wind picks up or something, it can be a hazard. You want to make sure you're not on a game trail, or there's not a big pile of steaming bear poop right over there, that kind of thing. So you take a look around, and then we're going to move on to thinking about our survival priorities. And in this case, since we're not moving, it's going to be shelter, fire, food, and water in no particular order there. That's what you have to decide. And one of the things that got me thinking about this 50-foot or 25-foot cord and 50-foot survival school experiment was an article that Ron Hood wrote in the early 90s. and it was in American Survival Guide magazine, and it really stuck with me. But he talked about how when you're facing the day in a survival situation, you take some time and do some thinking. And he mentioned how a lot of people do their best thinking on the toilet, to put it bluntly. So he said, you know, when you're facing your day, you crouch down as if you were maybe taking care of your morning business, or maybe you are taking care of your morning business, and you look around and you examine your surroundings and you think about it and you observe it. And that change of perspective is key. Everybody knows that when you change your perspective, you're going to see things different. We always see things from standing up and looking at it and crashing through the bush. But when you get down low like this and really look at your surroundings, you see it different. So if you take some time and do that, before you even start going out to the end of your tether, you take a look around, and this is going to help you decide which order you need to address those survival priorities in. You take some time quietly, and you sit and you listen, and after a few minutes you will hear the animals start making more noise around you and coming closer, and you'll get more in tune with your surrounding, and you'll see things that you wouldn't have seen if you had just walked by, and you would have missed opportunities. So that's the first thing to do after you've decided you're safe, is just observe. Okay, so from my center stick here with my tether, we'll just pretend I'm not moving, but I'm just looking around, observing things that I can see from right here. There's a good one that hits my priorities right. This is tinder material, and this tree will produce sap. So if I go back over here to my tether stick and pretend I'd never moved, look over that way, and I can see these bright orange wood lilies. And they have a tuber that has good food value to it. So I'm back over to my central point here, and if I look over here, I see lots of sphagnum moss. And of course this stuff would be good for making a water filter, or setting up bedding underneath my, or what I would lay on for my shelter, or even as roof material. Then from here again, if I look off in that direction, I can see more fallen logs and sticks. There's already some framework of a shelter made there, and these cedar branches would work well for making some cover. So that tree there would probably also be a good likely spot to go and look for sap to accelerate my my tinder that I may find. So this is how we begin this experiment. We'll start off by addressing your priorities. And once you've got that done, you don't actually have to go and build your shelter. Just go within the range of your tether and identify the best spot that would be in there. It may be just huddling up against a log. I mean, really, 50 feet is not a lot of space to find a great shelter place. But find what you can. See if you can find anything that maybe a good place to collect water, or whatever. Water is going to be probably the most difficult one in a situation like this, and it may not even happen. But do what you can, find what you can, and then after you've got those things addressed, the thing to do is to move on to identifying the plants that are in this area. Identify whatever you can that you already know, and then don't stop there. Move on to ones that you don't know and start identifying them too. And if you can't solve the mystery of what they are with your field guide, take pictures, make sketches, go home, research it on the computer. And then what you can also do while you're out there is look for signs where there may be animals moving. Like for instance right here at the end of this log wouldn't be possibly a bad spot to put a snare. And I'm sure there's more around. Squirrels probably run up and down that log all the time. And if you have the time, you can go ahead and set up snares in all these places. They won't be ideal because of the fact that you're within the boundaries of this tether, but that's the whole point. This takes you out of your comfort zone and forces you to do things that normally would be maybe difficult or not ideal. And it really will rapidly expand your skills, because what we tend to do as lazy people, when we go out and practice skills, we walk until we find the best situation. You know, we already have water, the shelter's almost made. You know, we'll walk for hours until we find the best stuff. And in a survival situation, maybe that's okay. You'd have to decide that at the time. But in a training situation, it's no good. You need to get out of your comfort zone and just get right down to the roots of observation and learning. So, well, that's it for the 50-foot survival school. I'm not going to go through the whole thing of doing it. I've already shown you some basics and given you the heads up on the experiment, so you can take it from there, and hopefully you'll get some use out of that for what it's worth, eh? Thanks for watching.